This is KGW News at Sunrise.
I am happy and proud to announce that we have made an arrest in the case.
And video captured the moment deputies moved in. Now that guy is in jail, accused of lighting another man on fire at a Denny's restaurant. We'll hear from neighbors as the suspect gets ready to face a judge.
Also, Earth Day is tomorrow. How are you planning on celebrating our planet? Well, we have some local events happening this weekend and tips on how to go green with your electronic devices. Hey, we have made it to Friday. Congratulations.
Yeah, and what a good Friday it's going to be. We are on track to hit 70 degrees. That would make it the warmest day of the year so far.
Well, easily.
Easily, yes. We sent Rod Hill outside up to the roof this morning. I know, Rod, it's probably still a little chilly this morning.
Spoken like somebody who's indoors. It's a lot chilly this morning. It's probably about 40, maybe 39 here up on the rooftop right now. Other spots are more like 36. But looking around, I can see a little bit of what I call lifted fog over the Willamette, kind of hovering over downtown. But when you get away from the river and I look back toward the West Hills, it looks like it's a perfectly wonderful blue sky awaiting us. Sun up about 13 minutes from now. Quickly, let's look at the temperatures. Don't be caught off guard of how chilly it is this morning. We have a mix of 30s and 40-degree temperatures around Portland, and as we move the map down to the south, the same thing down in Salem, where temperatures have been in the 30s for the last few hours. Here's the bus stop. So you need a jacket this morning, no doubt about that, or if you're going to be biking to work or spending some time outdoors. But by lunchtime, 58, and we're forecasting that high of 70 degrees, which, let me tell you, I desperately need right now because it is a bit chilly up here. Here is Chris McGinnis.
Hearing you sing that forecast when it gets nice like that, Rod. All right, I've got one trouble spot right now. Let's take up to Vancouver. This is the watchdog camera from I-5 at Mill Plain Boulevard. If you look really closely, right smack dab in the center of your screen, there's a down utility pole. Looks like it's the northbound right lane or shoulder that's tied up with that. So we're keeping our eyes on that. Otherwise, the drive in pretty good shape. There's the I-205 commute over near Johnson Creek Boulevard. Headlights in that shot heading northbound. That looks pretty good. Sunset still looks pretty good, although there's some of that low cloudiness hanging up near the Sylvan Hill. No freeway issues heading into downtown just yet. Ladies?
Thank you, Chris. Want to give you a live look this morning at the Morrison Bridge. Traffic there is moving again. The bridge reopened about 2 hours ago.
Well, PBOT crews closed it overnight, and it's part of a big project that will last several months. KGW's Tim Gordon is live in our mobile unit. And Tim, the bridge will close again this weekend, but along with a portion of I-5.
Right, and let's talk about I-5 first because it's going to be a really big impact. I show you out the front of the vehicle here. And I-5 South shut down from the Broadway exit past the Markham Bridge. So if you want to go south through Portland, do what we're doing right now, which is to take I-405 and go south. Actually, we're going to stay on I-5, but you can see the split right here. I-405 south and rejoin I-5 south of Portland is going to be your best bet this weekend, as it's going to be a mess and a big closure here on I-5. This is so crews can work on the Burnside Bridge. They're removing crumbling concrete and replacing it on the underside of the bridge. This is the second weekend they've closed I-5 south for this work. And we know from last weekend, this I-5 closure really can cause a lot of gridlock, I should say. That includes on I-5, I-84 westbound coming up to I-5, since you can't go south there. So be ready for that, avoid it, or at least plan another route. And certainly use I-405 to go south, or also consider I-205 as a good alternative. Now the Morrison Bridge is reopened to one lane each way after the overnight shutdown. But as we said, this weekend the Morrison shuts down again from 7 a.m. tomorrow to as late as 4:30 Monday morning. They're replacing that lift deck, and they need some full closures to do it. But this is really going to make things tough going through the downtown area. Back here on I-5, it closes at midnight, reopens 4:30 Monday morning. Then the following 2 weekends, I-5 North closes the same area for the same work. So expect this trouble in the downtown area for your driving on the weekends for the next several weekends to come. We'll send it back to you in the studio.
It's disgusting to me, you know, hearing what happens to this elderly man. You know, he didn't deserve that.
No, he didn't. Neighbors reacting to news of an arrest in their community. New video shows Clackamas County deputies moving in on Deshaun Swanger. Tips led officials to a home on Southeast Sunnyside Drive. Swanger is suspected of lighting another man on fire at a Denny's restaurant Wednesday night. Swanger could be in court later today. Coming up at 6:30 here on Sunrise, hear from the victim's sister. She says her brother is a Vietnam veteran and describes him as a kind, gentle soul. His burns have left him unrecognizable.
It is 6:05 now. Woodland detectives are trying to track down some stolen memorabilia, hoping it'll lead them to a murderer. This is Donnie Howard. He was killed at his home back in November. We want you to take a look at these photos. Howard collected Eagle memorabilia, jewelry, knives, coins, cigarette lighters, all sorts of things. Well, somebody took those items from his home when Howard was killed. There's now a $3,000 reward for any information.
The man responsible for killing a police officer and injuring 2 others in Paris had a long criminal record. French officials told the Associated Press 39-year-old Karim Cherfi was detained back in February for threatening police officers. They had to release him, though, because there wasn't enough evidence. He was also convicted in 2003 of attempted homicide for shooting 2 police officers. Overnight, police raided his house and took 3 family members into custody. ISIS has claimed responsibility. Police shot and killed Cherfi as he tried to run away.
South Korea and the U.S. are on high alert this morning for what could happen next in North Korea. State media there threatening a, quote, super mighty preemptive strike on Tuesday. And that day is significant. It marks 85 years since North Korea created its army. Chinese bombers are also on high alert. President Trump praised China's efforts yesterday at a press conference. Meanwhile, U.S. and South Korean forces are doing joint flying exercises. U.S. top envoys will meet with South Korea and Japan on Tuesday. They plan to talk about their plans to maximize pressure on North Korea.
Dozens gathered outside the governor's mansion in Arkansas to protest capital punishment. A church group held a vigil after the state held its first execution in almost 12 years. Around midnight local time, Liddell Lee was pronounced dead. He was one of the inmates on death row. Arkansas originally wanted to put 8 inmates to death before the state's supply of a lethal injection drug expires at the end of the month. 3 of those executions were canceled this week because of court decisions. The state still hopes to execute 2 more inmates on Monday and 1 next Thursday.
The Tennessee teacher charged with kidnapping his 15-year-old student will be in court today. Police found Elizabeth Thomas with 50-year-old Tat Cummins in a remote part of Northern California, about 100 miles from the Oregon border. They were staying in a cabin there. A property manager recognized Cummins and called police. It brought to an end a 5-week nationwide manhunt. Cummins now faces several state and federal charges. Elizabeth's family says they are so happy to have her back home safely.
Well, with Earth Day tomorrow, we wanted to share a story about a white oak tree in Georgia that owns itself. It's kind of confusing, so let us explain. Back in the 1800s, a man loved the tree so much that he included it in his will. A newspaper ran the story. For more than a century, people knew this as the tree that owns itself. 70 years later, the original tree was knocked over in a storm and it died. The community planted a sapling from one of the acorns. And if you ask people around town there, this new tree is a big part of the legend.
So the tree that owns itself is now the descendant of the original tree.
So it's now the son of the tree that owns itself?
The tree that owns itself has its own Facebook page and even inspired a children's book. It's now considered a historical landmark. Many people come from all over to visit it. And we will post the full story on KGW.com if you want to know more about it.
I do. Where was that at again? I missed the story.
Georgia.
In Georgia. Well, okay. All right, here's a look. I'm sure they have beautiful trees in Georgia. I shouldn't be surprised. Here's a look at, not as pretty as our trees, though. Here's Cannon Beach this morning. A little murky, but a lot of this is just fog that will settle. It's really pretty clear, I think, when you get up top. Early morning temperature at the beach, chilly as well, 41 degrees. This will be a beautiful sunny Friday, all areas, including the coast, including the valley, the Cascades, out across eastern Oregon. And even the beaches, 65 to 70 degrees today. So just glorious weather to get away. Just grab this off of a camera out at Camas Meadows in Camas, of course, this morning. There you see hole 18, a little bit of shallow fog. But again, look at the blue skies up top. We will be getting east winds kicking in the usual spots a little bit later this afternoon. Fog is a little more dominant over downtown right now, and let me correct myself. It's kind of hard to tell when it's up on the roof what you're seeing, but there's a pretty good fog bank that's holding over the West Hills at this hour as well. Temperatures are chilly. Sun comes up in about 3.5 minutes, and we'll quickly lose the fog and just get to blue skies this morning. But look at the 30s out on the west side. Tiger, Beaverton, Hillsboro, Forest Grove, all in the 30s. Gresham holding at 40. Camas the same, and Happy Valley is at 40. Kaiser, Salem, all in the 30s. At McMinnville, Dallas, good morning to you, 36. So here we go. We certainly have the fog that we expected in spots. But by lunchtime, just clear skies, 58 degrees. At least mostly sunny, maybe some high thin cirrus clouds later today. Projecting 74 high. East winds developing in the usual spots this afternoon. Here are the other current numbers. It's shallow fog or clear skies, so there are no travel issues. It's 44 up in Seattle this morning if you're making that drive. And look at the sun on the forecast. Upper 60s at the beach, 69 in Tillamook today, 70 in Kelso. About 70 all the way down to Eugene, really. 41 up at Timberline. It'll be soft snow on the mountain. Don't overdress if you're going to enjoy a spring bluebird day up on Mount Hood. 61 out in La Grande. You folks will see mainly light winds out east. I do want to point out that by the time you get up tomorrow morning, this is 8 a.m., showers will be back in the forecast with thick cloud cover. So enjoy today. And again, at the beach, coldest spot our forecast models show, Lincoln City, and that's 65. So that's pretty nice stuff. All right. 70 today, celebrate it, and then we have showers both days. It still looks like, if anything, Sunday the clouds are a little more solid and the rain's a little bit more persistent than what we'll get tomorrow. Washout days at this point expected on Monday and on Tuesday as well. I'm told to stretch. I'm thinking of a 70-degree sunny song. We got the 70s.
We can just meditate on that image.
I love the 70s.
Look, when
I
you're
want
late,
that 7.
he starts to
That's
sing.
0. That's 70 degrees.
No, you shouldn't.
I like listening to Rod sing.
I said, no, come earlier.
You're right.
All right.
You need to be on time.
All right, speaking of on time or not being on time, we talked about the closure of I-5 southbound and the Morrison Bridge closure this weekend. Tim just did a very thorough report on that, right? Well, in addition to that, the Timbers are home this weekend, so don't forget about that. All that traffic being diverted over the Fremont Bridge could be extra busy. 1 o'clock kickoff at Providence Park versus Vancouver. The Trailblazers are also home this weekend, 7:30 against Golden State at the Moda Center. Lots of extra traffic heading into the downtown core to go along with that closure, so best to avoid it if you can. All right, let's zoom in right now to the Gateway District, westbound I-84. Traffic getting a little bit busier here, but it still looks like we're flowing pretty freely. I-5 north up in Clark County. This is a live look from our Mill Plain Boulevard camera. You can see WashDOT crews dealing with that down power pole right there. It looks like traffic is squeezing by in the left shoulder. We'll keep you posted. Ladies?
Okay, thank you, Chris. A lot of people clean the house. They don't want to use a bunch of chemicals. So you don't have to, and you don't have to spend a lot of money on those supplies either because they're already in your house. A lot of them actually in your refrigerator.
Yeah, there's some foods that really do wonders around the house. Best of all, like Brenda said, you don't need to use any chemicals with it. So here's a couple. Here are a couple. Use a banana peel to polish your shoes. I know it sounds a little weird. You're sitting there with an old banana peel, but it works. Banana peels have potassium in them. It's a key ingredient in shoe polish. So just rub the inside of the peel on your shoe and then just buff it out like you would with a cloth.
Okay, my kids would think I was crazy if they saw me doing that.
Yes, they would.
But you know, hey. Also, ketchup, it can polish brass and copper. It even works on jewelry.
Wow.
Just squirt a little on whatever needs a shine and then wipe it off with a sponge. And you've heard about coconut oil. I mean, it's pretty magical. All different kinds of things can it do? Well, you can also use it as an all-natural furniture polish. And it's going to smell good too.
I do
with
love
the
the smell of
coconut.
that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
after you finish.
Okay, how about limes? They work as an ant repellent. Ants do not like citrus, so just squeeze a little lime juice into a spray bottle and then go around the windows and the door, the cracks of those, and just spray it there. And that apparently keeps ants out of your house.
Interesting. Also, save time scrubbing dirty dishes. You can fill your pots and pans with hot water. Drop in a few tea bags. The tannic acid in the tea helps break down the grease before you wash.
Those are some good tips.